If you are like me, God I hope not, you've probably started watching an anime only to find yourself irritated by one character to the point where you consider dropping the series entirely. It happens to the best of us, but what if I told you that sometimes these seemingly annoying protagonists are part of the larger rewarding story? Let's be honest, Bucchigiri isn't exactly the most popular anime out there. Some viewers might find the main character Arajin to be a little bit annoying. His reluctance to fight, his avoidance of responsibility, and his often frustrating behavior can make it tempting to abandon the series early on. But hear me out here. If we look at it from a slightly different perspective, forget that this guy is a main character and do what the anime expects of us, we will probably find a very pleasant story about forgiveness, self-acceptance, and overcoming one's flaws. By setting aside our initial irritation, we can uncover a narrative that is both touching and meaningful. Now, what do I mean by do what the anime expects of us? Well, as I said before, the first thing is to get out of your head that this is the main character. Seriously, just cut him out, throw him to the trash bin, I don't care. The second thing was realizing that the anime actually tells the story of this character. And the third thing, we have to let the randomness of this anime draw us into the strange world and not let us go until the very end. So let's answer the question, why would you give Bucchigiri a chance? Before we talk about the series, let's briefly check who was responsible for it. First is Taku Kishimoto, a man of many talents, responsible for the script and composition of many good shows such as Erased, Haikyuu, hell even Blue Lock, an anime that I personally love. The second person is Kagami Takahiro, who was responsible for the character design in Bucchigiri. He also worked on animation in Death Note, Banana Fish and even Pokemon. And finally, Oshima Mihuru, responsible for the music. It's hard for me to say anything about her work because I've only watched Full Metal Alchemist and Bucchigiri, but the music in both of them is really great. It's not that these three were responsible for the entire show. There are plenty of people and everyone contributed to making the anime look really good. It doesn't matter whether we think anime is good, bad or even terrible. Everyone has watched something that later made them regret the time spent on it. But I think that we should appreciate how much effort someone puts into it. But the topic of people responsible for creating scripts, music and even animation is so interesting that it deserves a separate video. So back to the main topic. So what is the anime about? Two childhood friends always wanted to become honky people. We will explain the meaning later. Years passed and their paths diverged. After some time, Arajin moves back to the city where he was born and meets his childhood friend who was always pursuing his dream. The action begins when Arajin is possessed by one of the first honky person. The boy gets involved in gang wars and tries to escape from his past, which does not want to leave him alone. There are many characters in the series that are very colorful and interesting. Unfortunately, there won't be a time to tell about all of them, so we have to start with the basics. The man, the myth, the legend, the main character. Arajin, a boy who doesn't like to fight, likes a girl from his class, and that's where the positives ends. The character, in my opinion, was made to be disliked, but let's give him a chance. The boy is not a fan of fights, so he avoids them, and I can understand that. The problem is that he also avoids looking his friends in the eyes after what happened years ago, and I understand that might be difficult, but there is no need to treat his friend like that. Arajin constantly trying to push him away, and even though I know the reason for such action, I am unable to understand him. Well, but that's not all. When something serious happens, Arajin just puts his hands into his pockets and avoids responsibility for what has happened or will happen. He defends others, yes, but only when he forced to do so. All the actions he did in one episode make the guy simply switch off. Which bring us to the second character named Senya, the complete opposite of Arajin. Loyal, helpful, he does not run from a fight. He helped Arajin many times on difficult situations, supporting him in battle or simply advising him what to do. From the very beginning we can tell that Senya is hiding some secret and doesn't really want to talk about it. Which means that we, as a viewer, are never sure what really motivates him to act. It is really difficult to describe the relationship between these two characters. Their different approach to life and fighting often leads to tension. Senya tries to understand Arajin, but his reluctance to be open makes their relationship complicated. The last character I would like to briefly describe at this moment is Matakara. Since he was a little, he had been striving to fulfill his dream of becoming a honky people with Arajin. His constant faith in his friends come from deep loyalty and attachment that they have built over a long time. Matakara is lovely and a very polite character. He doesn't run from a fight, he defends his friends and sometimes tries to find peaceful solutions. However, his past, just like Arajin's, does not want to leave him alone. There is hidden fear and uncertainty deep in his heart. All the time Matakara is looking for support in his childhood friend, which makes the situations that take place between them hard even more. As the story unfolds, Matakara undergoes a transformation. His relationships with other characters evolve, showing more and more complex aspects of his character. While watching Bucchigiri, we may think that the whole plot is very shallow and actually we won't be wrong. The plot is simple, but that's not what we care about. The randomness of the scenes and the action that finally takes place are simply enjoyable. The best part of the plot is watching Matakara's story, which I won't reveal to you. I will only say that this is a character that develops throughout the entire anime, so that at the end there is a one big conclusion to what happened during the period of his life. And it wasn't the best, but I think it was good enough to satisfy you. Let's also talk a little bit about what I like the most in the show. Bucchigiri stands out with a very rich color palette that immediately attracts attention. Thanks to intense colors, individual characters and scenes become more expressive and easy to remember. This makes the show recognizable and remains in the memory for longer. The scenes that appear in the opening are incredibly beautiful. The backgrounds in the series are very rich. Whether it's building or natural scenery, everything is vivid and detailed. The visuals in Bucchigiri are one of the main elements that can attract the viewer. The bright colors and detail of the anime creates a very immersive and exciting world that stays in my head for longer. So what exactly are honky people mentioned at the very beginning? This is no secret and you can actually guess by Matakara's behavior when a fight is involved. Honky people are people whose hairs do not run away, or at least that's what the wiki says. I believe the meaning of honky people may be different for everyone. For me, they are simply people who do not run from a fight and enjoy it, but with respect for their opponent. They want to be the strongest, which is why they are looking for increasingly stronger opponents. The plot of the series is not the strongest part. By focusing on the story of a single character, visuals and animation, we can have quite a lot of fun. The side characters involving Arajin in their affairs are a big part of what can draw us in and make us want to click on the next episode. We don't care what the main character has to say, the only thing we want from him while watching the series is for him to finally talk like a human to Matakara. Music in Bucchigiri is an important part of the experience of watching this anime. Created by Oshima Mihiro, the soundtrack of Bucchigiri stands out for its richness and diversity. Oshima composes songs with extraordinary precision and emphasizes the characters' emotions and tensions of individual scenes. Dynamic music accompanying a fighting scene to mysterious or melancholic melodies that shows the characters' moments of weakness. Plus the opening and ending, my god, you have to listen to those because they are wonderful. And that's exactly why you should give Bucchigiri a chance. Music, visuals, side characters, their story, there are more interesting things in this anime than main character. You may not find a polished diamond there, but you will definitely dig some gold out of the mud. That's all for today about Bucchigiri. I hope you liked the video and that I encourage you to watch this anime or look at it from a different perspective. Thank you very much for watching and for your time. If you have any thoughts, questions, or want to share your opinion about Bucchigiri, be sure to leave a comment. Thank you for your time and attention, and see you in the next video.